Hi, have you heard about BipCoin? Not Bitcoin, but BipCoin. Bravo, India, Papa, Coin. BipCoin is a new cryptocurrency that you can start mining today for free on ordinary computers. Unlike most altcoins, BipCoin is not a clone of Bitcoin. BipCoin is based on entirely new, more recent, and better code called CryptoNote. So unlike Bitcoin, BipCoin has truly untraceable transactions, does not require specialized mining rigs, and has adaptive limits. Plus, BipCoin is the only cryptocurrency covered by the BipCoin no government license. This allows use and reuse by anyone except governments and government agents. If you're still kicking yourself in the head for not getting in on the ground floor of Bitcoin, start mining, using, and trading BipCoin today.
Not a guarantee.
Mining BipCoin costs you nothing but the electricity to run your computer. And we already take BipCoin for stickers and buttons. Go to bipcoin.org. That's bipcoin.org. Once again, that's Bravo, India, Papa, coin.org.
You know, you see it 200 something plus times a year. Eventually, it's going to creep into your psyche. You know.
But if that was the case, things like the backfire effect would not exist, Dave.
Or something else would.
Well, the backfire effect is temporary usually.
Well, not necessarily. Well, everything's temporary, Dave, including us.
It is slavery. It's just a different name. A lot of people don't realize what it is, and when we bring these ideas to light and make people realize, that this government force is the problem.
And to me, it's like I say, imagine you're an abolitionist in the 19th century, and these slave masters are giving you the same exact argument. Who's going to pick the cotton?
Hey, Seeds of Liberty. Read the show's description, please. Fervently complete the course, report him to the infantry. Finish him, deconstruct the fallacy. Seasonal production means it seems to spawn a tragedy. Peep the action, please. A fraction of the allegory. Corollary cadences complaining on a sadder story. Menial, recently reading into the thesis here. Mirroring the people who completely fail to see it though. Seeing is believing, yes, the reason is appealing most. Reading enemies is just...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seeds of Liberty podcast. This is episode 81. As always, the Seeds of Liberty podcast is covered by a BipCoin no government license. This allows reuse by anyone except government and the agents thereof. You can find out more information about this at bipcoin.org. So this week, we have our friend Paul Gordon returning and sitting in the vacated Danilo chair. Hey, Paul, what's going on, man?
It feels good to sit in the Danilo chair. I can feel the spirit of Danilo in me right now.
That could be a good...
soul patches flowing through you.
Oh, yes! Oh, yes!
That could be a good or a bad thing. I'm not sure. But for those of you who don't know, Paul is a co-host on Disassociation Nation. He also runs a couple other shows. What is it? Full Auto is your
you can find me on Spreaker.com. That's our gun show.
Yes.
But you can find all my stuff, everything that I do on stateofwake.com. That's that's the shortcut answer to all the stuff I do.
Yes, and Paul is actually now a co-host of mine on a new project we've started. Yep. I kind of stumbled into the Anarchy Action project. Anarchy
Action Meeting, AA meeting.
Yes.
And I get to run it this next episode. I run it.
Yeah,
that wasn't an evil scientist laugh. It's cool.
Yeah, that we just started a couple of weeks ago. It's basically actually trying to do things anarchy-wise instead of just talking about it all the time. Kind of the focus of that show, more activity-orientated, trying to talk about what it is we're actually doing in the world to try to produce a more freer society for ourselves and those around us. So it's pretty interesting. Check it out. We usually actually live stream it, I think.
You don't do nothing but talk online, Jeremy.
I do apparently at least 4 shows a week now. So that's fine.
It's like, well, yeah, I kind of do only talk online. You know what? Screw you, pal.
I do 3 shows, and I'm looking to do more, actually.
Well, I got told yesterday that I couldn't possibly know anything because I think that just because I'm podcasting, I'm doing stuff for Anarchy. I'm like, okay. Do you have any idea what else I do? No? Okay. Good for you.
Goebbels did nothing for the Third Reich.
Too soon, Dave. Too soon.
Edward Bernays did nothing for the United States government.
Yeah.
Are we propagandists?
We make propaganda. This is what this is.
We are
I
propagandists.
got nothing against it. I'm a propagandist. I love it, man.
So,
I
to
run
say
my
we're doing
Samus
nothing is
press
foolish.
for doing it.
I mean, I don't know if you add up the collective eyeballs that have seen memes that we have created.
Oh, yeah, we're all
That's
meme
what
creators. This is like a trifecta of memology. That's what
Yeah.
that is.
Well,
Memology trifecta.
If you listen to the last episode of The Downfall, 29, this will be, I'm talking about, we re-memed government into gangverment. I'm not calling government anymore. I'm calling it gangverment from now on.
I call it a coercive enterprise. That's my thing.
Well, I mean, a gang usually is a coercive enterprise.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
This is just, just giving them a logo, a name, gangverment.
I also call them assault gov, and I say ban
Assault gov?
Ban assault gov, yes.
Ban assault government.
Yes. And all governments are assault governments, so ban assault gov. If I made a meme, I'll have to share it with you, Dave. I don't know if you ever saw it, but I think if that meme reaches enough people, this whole thing goes away. It's all over. It's like peace throughout the land.
You think it's it? Just one meme?
One meme will do it. One meme will do it. I just got to get. I got that meme has to get in every living room, in every home, and in every hut.
Technically, that's the one. I really want to. I've got it in the back it's in the closet somewhere, hidden under a shelf. But I've got the idea to crowdfund taxation and theft billboards, where the only idea is to just put up billboards in heavy trafficked areas that only say taxation and theft. That's it. Nothing else. Don't go to any websites. Nothing. Just taxation and theft. Nothing to argue with. Nothing. No one to call. Nothing.
You know what, though? The weird thing about that is if you had that, because most of the time if you're driving, it means you're going to work. I'm just going to say it. You got to go with it. So that means that the only people who actually won't see it are libertarians, because none of them work. So it's gonna reach beyond the libertarian community. It's just not gonna actually reach the libertarian community, and that's cool. That's cool.
Well, for the most part, doesn't the libertarian community, shouldn't they know that already? Shouldn't they not need to see that?
Yeah, but it was funny.
Well, yeah, that's the ones you want to see. The ones going to the corporate jobs. The ones going to work.
You want
going to work for the government.
Tired of preaching. I'm tired of preaching to the choir, man. I want to go out.
I want you going to your job at the Social Security office and seeing this tax billboard every day that says taxation is theft. I want you to go every day to your job and go, wow, I'm basically the bad guy here. Like, I'm one of the crewmen of the pirate.
I do this. Yeah, but I really am sick of preaching to the choir. Seriously, I'm looking to expand the message in a way that we're not smacking each other, smacking people across the head with, we must destroy government, we must destroy the state. How about we talk about something that a whole lot of people would kind of agree with, even if they believe in the state. Hey, let's try to empower people to be able to say no, to empower people to make the most choices that they possibly can in their lives. I think you're going to get as an individual, you're going to get a whole lot more people agree to that, and you'll start to take them down a path that should, if they continue, that should lead.
You got to nudge them, right?
It's a nudge.
Are we going full propaganda here?
Yeah, do you got an issue with nudging?
Society, Paul.
Well, when I say nudge, what I mean, you can't nudge anyone. You can't control anyone. What you can do is you create the opportunity for them to nudge themselves. That's what you're doing.
I say create memes that convert consciousnesses.
You got to write that down. You write a field manual for that. There should be a meme field manual.
It's in there somewhere, man. I've got a lot of meme build up in my main. A lot of people don't understand what a meme is. A meme is anything that humans attach. It's an abstract that humans make so that they can share information very quickly.
It's not that anymore, though.
No. That's what it is. Yes. Basically, everything is meme.
That's the definition of it. What Paul's saying is in the very, very common, very present parlance.
Oh,
memes have come to mean the pictures
memes
with words
cats.
on them.
Memes are cats with words.
Oh, the comic memes. Yeah. Those are changing a lot of people's minds. I mean,
memes.
Who will pick the cotton will wreck someone who's a minarchist. Like, that's an argument they can't stop.
Well, they can just ignore it.
They can always stop it.
Mm-hmm.
They words.
Not for long.
Words, yeah, they can stop it. I'm not saying that they can stop it with logic and reason. I'm saying they can stop it.
Yeah.
Okay, I was sorry. I made my absolute there. I wasn't meaning to.
I know.
Did you make an absolute statement?
He does this a lot, and I usually call him on it. Yeah, what Paul said is the correct part of that. That they can't defeat it with logic and reason, but they can sidestep it. They can ignore it. There's so many things they can do, and I've seen it happen. Yeah. I did it at one point too. You get.
Sounds like they're about to boogie.
You talk about basically what they're doing. Boogie.
The cognitive dissonance breakdown is about.
They're doing the two-state boogie.
Boogieing away from your ass is what they're doing.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's because especially for a lot of people, the whole slavery thing, attaching, saying who will pick the cotton, making the references to slavery. A lot of people automatically shut down when they hear that. It's not even a matter of they're not going to make the connections. They think that's so outlandish that they don't even have to respond. So that's why. See, I mean, the whole taxation and stuff thing as a billboard series, it sounds great, and it may convince some people to look into it. I have a feeling, though, a lot of people would just ignore it, and because again,
I'm all about sublimation, right? So if you see that every day, if you're going to work, right, and you take the same route every day, and you see the taxation and stuff billboard every day, you see it 200 something plus times a year. Eventually, it's going to creep into your psyche,
But if that was the case, things like the backfire effect would not exist, Dave.
Or something else would.
Well, the backfire effect is temporary usually.
Well, not necessarily. Well, everything's temporary, Dave, including us. So that's a very subjective statement to be making.
Well, the other thing that would happen is if you see this slogan enough times, the slogan loses its meaning. It's like, the Egyptian religion. If you studied Egyptian history, one of the reasons that that historians say that Egypt began to ossify is because they lost the meaning of their religion. Their religion told them something about their lives, that it became stagnant ritual. I mean, how many times do we see slogans? We don't even. I mean, like the the Pledge of Allegiance. Kids say that Pledge of Allegiance every day, every single freaking day, and ask them what it means. They'll just lose meaning of whatever taxation is. It'll just become a corporate slogan. It'll become white noise.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm afraid of. And again, it'll probably reach some people, and some people it'll bug like you're describing, Dave. It'll give them an itch. Like, I got to look this up. Like, what's this all about? But my concern. I'm about to be a concern.
I mean, how many people see the "I'm loving it" McDonald's billboard and go buy a McDonald's?
Hold on, I gotta go.
Well,
gotta go to McDonald's. I don't know why I suddenly feel like going to McDonald's.
Yeah, but see, their
mouth is salivating for
that's a little different because
for a Big Mac. Did someone say I'm loving it?
Yeah, but that's a little.
Yeah, but
they're being given a destination with that one.
And also they have a taste memory. You don't have a taste memory of taxation and stuff.
Well, yeah, but even without that memory, just if you're hungry in general, like something like that would spark you. You may, but you have a destination to go to. Okay, I see the sign, the advertisement gets me. Ooh, I can go to this store, even if it's for anything else, for a shirt, a pair of shoes, whatever it is. How advertising works, whatever it is. You have either a physical location to go to or an online store to go to and acquire the thing that you now desire because the advertising worked. With taxation and theft, there is.
What do you acquire?
Exactly. There's a destination to be had if you want to take that journey, but it's not readily apparent, and a lot more people.
Okay, stop paying. 5 words.
Stop
taxation and theft. Stop paying.
Oh, okay. So you want to get people shot? That's cool. Yeah.
Hey, if enough people do it, right?
If enough people get shot, after the first, third, or fourth person, they'll run out of bullets.
Well, see, no,
they only have 4 bullets.
4 billion.
See, that's the See, that's the one bone of contention I have with our friend Ben Stone, whose book I finally finished reading, about the whole, you did. You can't take on the state because they're too powerful. I still say that's BS, and I still say if you got 8 to 10% of the population to just say no to things, stuff would have to start changing because, as we've discussed here and in other places, they are heavily, heavily, heavily outnumbered. There is approximately 1.1 million law enforcement officers in the country. There is approximately 1.3 members of the military, that including National Guard and all that stuff. So that's 2.4 million in a country of approximately 330 to 350 million people. They are heavily outnumbered, and with over 300 million firearms in the hands of private owners across the country, they are also pretty well outgunned just gun-wise. As obviously they have bigger and better weaponry, but to me that's neither here nor there, because if they have it, if it exists, it can be purchased on the black market, or somebody can make it for you in a 3D printer or something. If it exists for the government to possess, somebody else out there has the motherfucking plans and is more than happy to sell them to you at the right price. So all of those things that they have can be acquired, and it's a sheer numbers game.
Yeah, I say
as you can see from the WikiLeaks.
if you get to that point, you've already lost, and you're going to have to wait for the next cycle. What we have to do is we have to. This is going to sound a little genteel. We have to change hearts and minds. There's a number of ways to do that. Ooh. But if what happened in World War I in Europe, they began to get a sense of exactly what the state was doing to them, and they began to leave. But they didn't have anything to replace it with. So because they didn't have a viable free association alternative to a coercive enterprise, they just chose another coercive enterprise to replace the one, and that coercive enterprise got a reboot, got another honeymoon and another reboot. So if it comes to armed resistance, you've already lost.
But I'm not even. See, that's the thing. I'm not even talking.
No, I know you're not.
I'm just talking about 8 to 10% saying no. Then there's no need. If they want to force the hand at that point, well, then
are we starting a new movement called the 10%ers?
Well, if the 8 to 10% say no, and it ends up causing chaos with the government, the 90% may very well give it legitimacy to come after the 8 to 10% with full force, or there could be a civil war. All those things. It's already too late.
But see, I think you're missing the point, because what you're talking about the changing the hearts and minds, in order to get to that 8 to 10% to start with, you have to change that many minds to begin with, because we are at less than 1% right now of people like us out there. Maybe 1%, maybe. If that, I think maybe 0.5% is probably closer. So we would still have to change that many hearts and minds.
Yeah, if 0.5%.
And as we've discussed on this show many a time before, Dave, who's talked about, the only thing you really need is 10% of a culture, society, whatever, that believes in an idea to an almost religious level to shift that society or culture. That's all that's required. That is historic. There's historic examples all over the place to show that.
That's true.
So if you have 8 to 10% of the people already in that mindset of we don't need government, and why don't we need the government? Because we're the type of people, we are the agorists. We are the people who are trying to provide these services already, and that's how we are surviving. So when
people
you
think the state is going to just collapse in like an explosion, and it's all going to be chaos and crazy. No, it's going to get taken away brick by brick by the market.
That's the only effective way I see.
That's the only effective way. The other way, the sudden explosion is just going to produce another king. Actually, I'm really interested in this. I forget where I first heard it. Maybe it was one of your shows, Jeremy.
It was probably Planet Earth.
No, it was. I think maybe it was Jeremy, or Jeremy, you were quoting somebody. make government the Blockbuster of tomorrow, and that
might have been Lou. I think I do remember that wasn't me. I do remember somebody saying that. It might have been Lou. I don't know. Lou Feen.
Might have been Lou. I'm pretty sure it was one of the.
It was definitely a show I was on. I know that much.
Yeah,
I remember whoever.
Sounds like something Lou would say.
Whoever I was talking to, I remember them saying it. So I definitely recall that.
And I'm actually I'm kind of in talks with some people right now, and they're actually State-Yvonne Stay-Face people that are actually interested in possibly doing a project with me. Which
That's interesting.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
and they're like, okay, they don't oppose the state on moral or ethical grounds.
No.
They just believe that you're always going to have the state. So they're willing to go down the path. See where it leads.
They're workaroundians.
No, they're not workaroundians. I guess I would just call them pragmatists.
Well, yeah, you were talking about this. You were talking about this the other night. The people, that don't necessarily that say, oh, that anarchy thing or voluntarism. Oh, it sounds great in theory, but it'll probably never work. But hey, you know what? If you want to try, why not? Those type of people, right? That's what you're referring to.
I mean, for me, I'm going to have a Skype meeting with them tomorrow, and it's going to be a pretty important meeting for me, because for me, I would basically be the face of this thing, so I have to make sure that I'm never going to do anything that advocates or legitimizes the state. I could not morally, ethically, whatever, be a part of that. So, I mean, I don't know how well it'll go. It might not go well at all tomorrow, but I'm very interested in reaching beyond the anarchist libertarian community, and I'm not excluding the community. But I am much more interested right now in trying to reach this much larger community that is open to the idea of beginning the journey and going where that journey leads. And I think there's a lot more fruit in that field than there is just continuously. I mean, honestly, I'm getting a little frustrated in the whole anarchist community, truthfully. So,
well, there is no real anarchist community. That's
I'm using the term. I'm using the term very loosely.
Yeah, there is a loose knit community.
Very loose community. Loose
exists.
Yeah.
You know, especially.
I'm not putting anybody in a collective, Dave. So.
No, exactly, and you see it. You can see it on social media. Like, it does exist to a certain as far as it can exist. I'm not going to get into that. It doesn't exist. Conversation right now, but there is a community, as it were, that's loosely knit. People are, because we're connected, and even the people that disagree, that between the different ideologies, they're still more connected, at least on a somewhat seemingly regular basis, with other anarchists of different persuasions than they are with other people, in different camps.
Yeah, that's the same for me. Same thing, yeah.
I'd rather talk with a bunch of anarchists than anybody that advocates the state any day of the week. Even if we're arguing
of course. I'd prefer to do so too.
Who would I rather hang out with and have really close conversations with? Obviously, the people who reject the state. I feel much more comfortable with them. But I in terms of reaching people, I would actually rather speak to the State-Yvonne State faces in terms of getting message beyond. We're a teeny weeny tiny. Whether you want to call it community, I'm going to call it community because I can't think of a better word.
Everyone's spinning their wheels when they're sitting there arguing semantics with everyone.
But I don't want to do.
What happens is
oh yes, semantics. Okay.
Yeah. What it is most people can't really grasp semantics in a whole. They can grasp the certain aspects of the message of liberty, and they really should use their energy and effort to push that, and not really argue with someone who might have a better semantical hold on certain things. But people that are really into things and certain definitions and using certain memes in the right way, so to say, they're the way they are like that is because they want people to be on point and principled and not fuck it up. So to say,
I do not believe that. And I think I've said this in numerous iterations and shows and videos that I've made. I do not believe that the vast majority of people are going to be reached with persuasion. They're going to be reached with action and demonstration. So the thing that I'm talking about is actually bringing people together, and some of them will be anarchists, some of them will be state faces that'll actually form, or that already exist, free associations, which are already or will be providing products, services, whatever that the state provides. Already, whether they're state faces or not, they're already proving anarchy. But I don't have to say the word anarchy. I don't have to try to convince them of anarchy. I have to try to help them grow in what they're doing with their free enterprise, get these free enterprise folks, or free association, get these free association folks to start to not work together, but to cooperate better with one another. And that's, you don't say work together in the anarchist community because, you're collectivist and rounding everybody up under one umbrella, which you don't want to do. I don't want to do that. But creating, I used to say a call to unity, and I'm not saying call to unity anymore. What I'm saying is creating the opportunity for greater cooperation. That's what I want to do. And there is cooperation that can be made.
Did Lenin write that? Jesus.
Who?
No, I'm kidding.
Who's Lyndon? Lyndon LaRouche or something?
You said
Lenin would be...
Oh, Lenin. Oh, okay.
The communist dictator. Right.
Are you calling Paul a commie?
First name Vladimir Lenin? I don't know.
Vladimirovich Ilyevich, whatever. Vladimir Ilyevich Lenin. Yeah,
I can't remember.
So the word cooperation, is that a trigger word for you, Dave?
Yeah, it was just a joke. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Dave's triggered.
That's okay. I like triggering people. It's fun. I like to watch people react after a trigger.
Co-op. What are we going to have next? Vegan.
Well, we're going to have some sound effect in the background right now. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's
kind of.
It's one of the dogs.
Murder dog lapping up some water.
One of the dogs. Yeah,
I was going to say it's kind of kinky, and now I'm not far off the mark. There's some licking involved, so hey.
Hey man, this is a doggy world over here. I can't control what happens at all times, unfortunately.
What happens in doggy world does not stay in doggy world when you're recording.
Could Jeremy do a series of dog training videos on how anarchists train dogs?
No,
yes, you could do dog training with the non-aggression principle.
Yeah.
Get Michael to help you.
Yeah,
dog training with the non-aggression principle. Come on, that.
I'm getting a dog soon.
I don't think
I need guide, massa.
I don't think that's really necessary because the practices that I employ are already involve the non-aggression principle. Number one, and then number two, I don't apply the non-aggression principle to animals because they cannot reciprocate.
You're taking all the fun out of this.
Yes, I am.
This was fun. This is entertaining.
No, this is a way for you to teach people how to train dogs, but also spread the message of the nap.
There's a whole skit that was going to come out of this, and it's gone. It's gone.
I'm quite all right with it being gone. That's fine with me.
You see, after you get Buddy to sit, you want to realize that taxation is theft.
Right.
Yeah.
And since he's just an animal, beat on him.
No,
I'm just
not
kidding.
how this works.
I'm just kidding. I kid. Yeah, I don't.
We've discussed this at length before. I have started slowly introducing some of my clients, but I'm not about to start another business where that's the main focus of.
We were just talking about like a YouTube video series just for the lulls.
Yeah,
just for the laughs.
Yeah, bring Michael into it. He can produce and direct.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he wants to get involved in. Another project that has no prospect of making any money. Excellent.
No, you can pay him with BipCoin.
Oh, I got to pay him? Wait a minute. No, I don't even want to be doing this.
You need his services. Hey, by the way, I bought BipCoin buttons with BipCoin.
Oh yeah, how much is he charging a button? I haven't even looked.
Well, no, you get 3 buttons and you get a BipCoin or a bipcot.org sticker. Or I can't remember which one you get.
I don't.
So you get a sticker and 3 buttons for 100 bips.
Okay.
And I spent them.
Well,
I have over 7,000 bips, so I felt like
I think we're burying the lead a little bit here. For those who don't know,
we don't want to. Don't we want to bury the lead and then we say next week find out what we were talking about?
No, BipCoin is the newest cryptocurrency, so it runs on the crypto note code, which is the same thing that Monero is built upon. and it is up, and it has risen from the dead yet again.
Second
time's going to be a charm here. So, well, no, because this time
wait for this one to die again, and then get on. No. This
Paul
one's
Gordon
it. This
gonna
one's
send me half of his BipCoins?
No,
it's not going to happen.
But it is
not after you made fun of me for my Lenin comment. No way.
Never. I was a joke.
No, sorry. I had my wallet open, and I was going to ask you what your wallet number was.
He doesn't have. I don't think Dave has a BipCoin wallet. Anyway,
Dave, you don't have a BipCoin wallet? What the heck?
I am a snail in the game of BipCoin.
Well, anyway, it is back, and this time there actually is a development team.
I heard it was dead, so I backed the fuck out.
It died twice, but it's back for a third time. This time with a more rounded out development team, and it has I think it's on 2 block explorers now, and the GUI wallet's set to drop within the next week or two possibly, which actually will leapfrog it over Monero, because even though Monero is currently the number 1 crypto note currency, I think it doesn't have a GUI wallet yet, so it's automatically gonna.
Can I do a little breaking news thing on that?
Have you guys seen the price of Bitcoin though?
Bitcoin is closing
like
$40.
up.
Yeah, it's closing in on 700 again. I just noticed that the other day.
Yeah, it's hype.
About 2 weeks ago, I actually entered the Bitcoin world, and I need to thank Andrew Marich. aka Bodhi.
Bodhisattva.
Bodhi, not that Bodhi. Well,
Bodhi Agora. We've had him on the show before.
I didn't know he was on the show. I gotta listen to that. Was it once or twice? I gotta listen to those episodes.
He filled in a couple of times, I believe.
Oh, I gotta listen to the Bodhi shows.
Well, he's a quiet guy, anyways. You know,
he doesn't talk as much.
I don't think of him as quiet. Okay. Well, he sent me to get me started. He broke my Bitcoin cherry, and he sent me a little Bitcoin just to get me started. So thank you, buddy.
Damn, if that's all it took, I would have sent you LL. Damn, I thought you had some. I thought you were a guru.
You wanted to bust my cherry? Is that what you're saying? Cherries are red.
Bitcoin,
and cherries are red, and red is communist. So Dave is a communist. Well, there you go.
You're already an admitted communist, Paul. There's been numerous occasions where Paul has actually admitted to being a communist in the past couple of weeks.
I deny it all.
One of which was yesterday, as I recall.
I deny it all. If you have any documented proof, it's all digital. You know what? The Russians probably hacked my server.
I will say this.
And created it.
Yeah,
I will say this. The local Walmart near Paul, I hacked in and saw their video footage, and he was in there buying Chinese-made American flags. I don't know why.
Because I was burning them. They were the non-burnable ones. So
that's just a.
Well, I didn't know that.
Well,
I tried.
That's just a complete waste of money. I don't understand.
Going on in your house? What's up?
I don't understand why anybody would buy flags at this point just to burn them. I wouldn't even do that. I did my one video of burning flags. That's only because I already possessed all 3 flags, and they had been sitting in my garage. One of which had never come out of the package. The other one had been sitting there for a couple of years.
Did you ever think when you were buying them that the reason you'd be buying them is so you could burn them on video later?
No, absolutely not. I had two American flags and one of the 3%er flags, and that's the one that hung outside of my house.
Oh my, you were a 3%er. Nice.
Yeah, but I was just like I was when I was a liberal or a conservative. I was one of the useful idiots of that group. I really didn't know what the heck was going on. I was just going, yeah, it sounds good. All right. Rawr. This government is bad, not government in general. No. Get back to the Constitution. The Constitution.
Hey, Jeremy, can you show up and yell? I'm there. I will do it.
Which is
ridiculous. Be your yeller.
But the whole thing is ridiculous because the 3%ers were around before the Constitution. Some of them weren't very happy with what happened either.
Right.
So, it's like
the anti-Federalists were pretty not enthused about things.
Yeah. They nailed it.
We've talked about that before, and that's for anybody out there who catches this who may be in the category that Paul was describing before that we've kind of drifted away from at this point, but the minarchists or the people who think that it sounds like a great, anarchy, voluntarism sounds like a great idea on paper, but I don't see it working. But why the heck not? Like for those people, anybody out there like that, all you have to do is, if you've never heard of the anti-Federalist, papers as they're, collectively called, then you should really go read them. Even better, get yourself a copy of the Federalist Papers, and the only surviving copies, I think, of the original copies that they were able to make copies of the anti-Federalist Papers, they managed to have the ones that match up with all the Federalist Papers, because there's actually more on each side from what I recall, but there was however many of them that that regularly gets put out as the Federalist Papers, that group, from Hamilton and John Jay, and who was the other one? There's three. Madison. The three.
Patrick Henry.
No. Patrick Henry was one of the anti-Federalists.
He was definitely anti.
It was
Madison, Hamilton, and John Jay were the three main. Were the Federalists.
George Mason.
George Mason was an anti-Federalist. No, he wasn't an anti-Federalist, but he wasn't an anti. I don't think he was an anti, but he was against the whole thing because he was the one standing.
No, he was a Federalist. He was George. No, he was
he was one of the ones standing up complaining during the Virginia Constitutional Convention.
He was a governor, right?
Yes. At one point,
and he was like, I got a lot to lose here. I need to just remain governor.
Anyway, the point was, if you read the book that gets put out that's called the Federalist Papers, that has I think there's 80 of them, maybe something like that. They have a book you can now get. I've been able to find it that they have one that matches up all the anti-Federalist ones that match up with those ones specifically. Read them side by side, and then take a look around you today. Yeah. And then take a look back, and then after having read the anti-Federalist Papers, possibly twice at that point, take a look back through history with this new lens that you have, and realize that it's not just what it finally came to. What they were warning about started happening almost right away. The Whiskey Rebellion and the Alien Sedition Acts are two glaring examples within the first less than 12 years after ratification. And it simply continued. Almost everything they warned about has come true at some point.
Gangverment can't constrain itself, man. I keep telling you that.
No.
I keep telling everyone that.
Gangverment is hard to say for me, I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
It sounds like a venereal disease.
It does, and I'm kind of off-put by it as well.
Good. But I want you to be off-put by Gangverment.
I don't have to be off-put, though. The government, the word government already strikes enough of a chord with me where I don't want to, hear it again. So I don't need another.
I hardly ever say the word anymore. I hardly ever say it. It's not.
Are you sure? Because your phone, as it auto types.
Well, I try to.
Whenever you just even type in G, it just automatically goes to government.
Not mine.
Well, not mine. My old phone's ridiculous. Some app I have managed to screw up my autocorrect feature, and it doesn't save words most of the time anymore. So all curse word, and apparently half the words that could be curse words used in a certain context also fall into that category, like lick and suck are never, they're not in my in my dictionary for some reason. I don't know what the hell happened. But
you somehow avoided using the word
conservative Christian Council
I do use it,
but autocorrect.
I don't know.
I just don't get it.
I don't know.
Like, who the fuck isn't typing fuck at least 3 or 4 times a day out there? Like, only the conservative Christian Council. That's it.
Not me.
James Dobbs and the like.
I don't. Wow. I'm not a conservative Christian. I don't.
You know what I'm saying?
I say the word, but I don't type it much.
Well, I try not to.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who types in it goes duck? Like, who that? Oh, come on! It just gets.
I literally type FEFF. That's what I do.
That's just odd.
Well, I like saying effing commie.
Well, this is true.
It fills me with joy to say effing commie. Actually, I enjoy it better than saying, the F word. Yes, I do.
Well, I was going to say, I try not to say the word government either. I try not to even think about government, although I was forced to think about it first thing this morning, which really pissed me off, actually. Now I'm going to go on a sidebar tangent, just because we brought up government.
Go ahead.
So this morning, I get up, I have my regular dog who gets dropped off on Thursday morning for daycare, so I was up early waiting for her to get dropped off, and as soon as she got dropped off, I had to let her outside, and then rush off to go do an early morning visit. And on my way there, I stopped to get gas. And I've been to this gas station plenty of times before. And every gas station I go to, I get out, I almost always pay in cash unless I have absolutely none on me. So I walk in, give them the money, walk back out, go to the pump, open up my gas cap, stick the handle in and throw my gas cap underneath the handle and go sit in my car. It doesn't really matter the weather. I just do this all the time anyway because I'm lazy. And nobody has ever bothered me about the ridiculous law about, the fire marshal and fining you if you're not out there physically, holding the handle while the gas is going into your car. All the years I've lived here, never been bothered ever once. This guy comes up to my window and is in a full panic mode about the fact that I am not standing there holding the nozzle. And I looked at him. I said, "You do realize that law was written before the automatic shutoffs were put in all these cars, like the sensors that actually now, because I've never once overfilled my cars because it catches it." There's a sensor in there that tells the thing when there's too much gas, so it stops it. It's happened every time. That law is so old. That was before those things became standard in cars. But just like most ridiculous laws, they don't take them off the books. But this guy was in full panic mode, and I'm looking at the thing. I'm I have $7 left to go. I'm like, "Sir, it's 7:30 in the morning. It's kind of chilly out here. I'm in my pajamas. It's going to be okay. The fire marshal is not going to be here right now." It didn't matter. He was so upset that he ran inside and screamed at the other guy to shut my pump off immediately, leaving me with because I had given him $30, and I would have filled my. I would have used all of it, but stopped me at 24 or something. I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me!" And this he was so. It was this I don't know what country he was from originally. He had a very thick accent. I couldn't really tell, but he was so panicked about and so afraid of the government, of breaking the law. Breaking the law. That it's the whole conversation about safety and the fact that it's not really a threat anymore. He didn't want to be around anybody that could possibly be breaking that law. He was like, "This is too risky for me to even be witnessing." Well, no, because they get
you get break law cancer.
It was like he walked in on a double homicide. Holy shit! I gotta call somebody.
I'm next.
Well, no.
I'm next.
He worked. He worked there. He worked there.
Oh.
So apparently they get fined too. But I'm just and I asked him. I said, "Have you ever been fined? Has there ever been a fine in the history of this gas station for this particular violation?" And he just looked at me and said, "No." And I said, "So you really think the fire marshal is going to show up at 7:30 on a Thursday morning?"
Maybe Fire Marshal, what's his name? Fire Marshal Jim?
Fire Marshal Bill?
From
Bill.
Fire Marshal Bill?
Fire Marshal Bill. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was amazing, huh?
Yes, he was.
What the hell happened?
But anyway, I was reminded, and this goes back to the people Paul's talking about before, trying to reach and stuff. And we'd all, you guys, I think you'd also mentioned, Paul, there's some people that are so far out there. Well, yeah, these are the type of people that are so afraid of breaking any law. Again, nothing to do with safety. I can disprove the whole safety thing for him, but doesn't matter. He's just so concerned about breaking the law and being penalized.
About where you get the gas cap, and then you get the gas cap and you wedge it up under the handle so it keeps it pressed.
Yeah. Why do you think they're designed Why do you think they're designed like that? They fit perfectly.
Just so you guys know, I actually did manage to overflow my car once, but I was where you, because it stops, but you can get more in.
Oh, you can.
It clicks. And I kept.
Well, you were being a jackass. Oh, no, you can. What you're trying to say.
Well, normally I get a little bit more in, but
trying to top it off, huh?
One day I got a little bit. I was not myself. Let's just say I don't need to elaborate, but I did end up with some spillage, with some significant spillage. But you wouldn't have had that. It would have just shut off if you were sitting in the car.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you had to do that.
The sensor inside the very end of the nozzle.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Press back, they shut off. Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. You had to do that manually.
Y'all have self-service up there in Long Island?
Oh yeah, it's not like Jersey. Jersey's where you're not allowed to pump your gas, right? I think.
Okay, because that freaked me out. The first time I was up in the Northeast, I rolled up. I was like, "Yo, I got it." And
oh no, that's Jersey.
I have to pump the gas.
Jersey.
And I was like,
I think Jersey's the only state.
I've got it. You can fuck off. I'll pump the gas. He was like, "I can't. It's against the law."
It is.
It's against the law. It's breaking the law.
What the hell is this shit?
No, right. It is.
That's government. That's what government does.
I was like, "What the hell is this shit?" Sure, go ahead, pump me up, bud.
And they have to get.
I'm not tipping your ass because I would have got out and done this.
Those people have to get permits in order to pump the gas gas station attendants have to have permits in the states. I think there's a couple other states around the country that are like that too, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
so it sounds like
fascism. I hate it.
Sounds like this is just the source of good revenue for the coercive enterprise, is what it is.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, that's
a surprise.
That's what business licensing as a whole is.
Yes. Yep.
It's a revenue stream. It has nothing to do with the certifications, qualifications, or what have you of any of the businesses involved. They may put that out there for show that's what it's about, and to some extent it might be, but you can do it without extorting the public to pay for it in private. Just like the Better Business Bureau. That's
you can have private certifications, and you probably in LibPair you probably will have private certifications. I'm pretty sure you will.
Anything. The simple fact of supply and demand that so many people miss is that if you are, even though we were talking about before about not having a collapse situation where you have to start all over brand new right there, it's more the take down slowly thing. But imagine you are plopped into that situation. Well, don't you think there's going to be certain things that most people are going to automatically agree, hey, this is a good idea. I'd like to have this. Let's figure out how we can make that happen. Like certifications for certain jobs that involve other people's safety, or food, quote unquote, regulations. Like all these type of things, most people, myself included to a large extent, are still going to want. And myself, I can speak for myself, I'd be willing to pay for such services.
Yeah, I think that like in the food service, it'll be something like your competitor.
We're certified by this, and this.
No, I wasn't going to say that. But that wasn't my point. Your competitor will say, this dude's food is sucky, and he's got like mercury, and he'll poison you. And then you'll be like, wait a second, hold on. I need somebody to certify my food to shut this asshat down. And it'll be, the food service people will want it, will need it.
Sure.
Is this the broken mercury? Is this the broken mercury fallacy?
I don't know what the broken mercury fallacy is.
I think they're just making that up. But that's to a certain.
Oh, broken window. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm slow. When Dave, it seems like when you're making jokes, Dave, my brain is like, don't listen to Dave's jokes. I don't know what that is.
No, Dave's just not funny. That's all. It's okay.
Oh,
I'm not funny. I'm not funny.
You're funny like joke. You're
not off, Paul.
Two stages later, you're funny.
You're not off, Paul.
But we're not at that stage. That's okay.
Well, I was going to say that's to a certain extent that's what's going on in, where was it? We were just talking about this. Is it not Hong Kong? We were just talking about this with Merrick recently. I was talking about it with Merrick Van Landingham, and I think.
Oh, by the way, he's got a great podcast too, Radical Launch It.
This is very true. We've had him and his co-host Jonathan on our show.
Jonathan Not Sure,
multiple times.
Yeah, Jonathan.
Where they have the booming,
he's awesome.
Where they have the booming free market going insane 24 hours a day in these little pop-up shops that they can put all over the city.
Oh, right. In is it Hong Kong? Where? Yeah.
Was it Hong Kong?
I'm like 90%
sure
like
it was a capitalist dream.
Well, because wherever it was,
yeah, but it's happening. It's happening outside.
Somewhere over there.
It's happening outside the government because things are so bad. Wherever it is, things are so bad at this point where the government has kind of lost control and has kind of given up on this aspect. So people have figured out, and the economy is kind of crappy. So people are looking for work, and what people are starting to do is there's a couple of outfits that are just basically renting these little pop-up. What do they call them?
Food stand.
Yeah, like food stand type stuff, but just stands basically
like,
that you can rent.
Temporary bodegas?
No, like these tiny little things, like little tiny little stands. You would see it like flea markets or something. A whole bunch of them.
Oh, okay.
And you can rent these things from them, and then you take them out, and then you just set up your wares. And they have it set up where in the downtown they're basically going 24/7.
Totally unregulated.
It's unregulated by the government.
Government unregulated.
Yes, it's unregulated by the government, but the market is causing it to be regulated because there is a demand, and that's where I was getting to with Paul said. It's actually the people who are running the shops that are paying to have people come in and clean they're paying that people come in and clean their stuff and keep everything neat.
Your kid.
And basically creating not necessarily. There's not even a need for health inspectors because they're doing it because they want people to buy their stuff because there's so many people. Because what happens is like 4 o'clock in the morning, the morning crew
without government, Jeremy.
4 o'clock.
I know he's lying.
You're making this all up.
Stomp it.
4 o'clock.
No one would do this without government.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Okay, see,
Picks or it didn't happen.
Beating the dead horse of the joke there just kills everything, guys. Come on.
Sorry. Jeremy, you know that I am not a beater of dead horses.
It seems like
you know that
right now. Anyway, what the people doing is like 4 o'clock in the morning. See, you just can't stop. 4 o'clock in the morning, people roll in. And they start doing their morning stuff, like with the breakfast foods and all that stuff. And they set up and they have all their, and then they sell their stuff. And then like at 8 a.m., they close up shop, put everything away. They have people that come in that are people who are entrepreneurs themselves who decided to go around and instead of setting up a shop, they clean for other people's shops, and they just come around and they scrub the whole thing down and make sure everything's sanitary, and then they close up shop, and the next set of people come in and they start selling their wares and their handbags and their clothes and whatever, and their jewelry and whatever else they're selling, and it goes like this, like clockwork, all day long, and then they close up, and then the lunch crew comes in, and then more shops shut up in the afternoon, and then the dinner crew comes in, and then there's places for desserts, little mini bars pop up overnight where people are hanging out in the streets, and the place is alive 24/7, and it's completely untouched by the government right now.
And you know what happens if you set up something and you're dirty and you're messy and you're
people stop buying from you. And
also the vendors.
The
vendors don't want to work with you.
They won't
with you
exactly
because you're bringing down. You're bringing
down the property value.
All of a sudden.
You're bringing down the property value.
Their business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't. So they won't trade with people like that. They won't help each other out. Otherwise, if you got a clean shop and you're not like in the competitive, you're not in direct competition with them, sure, we'll help each other out, loan each other things, stuff like that. But yeah, that's ostracization. That's what happens. And right there, it is an example of people getting together and figuring it out despite government. They have just...
Yeah, I actually have personal experience with this at some degree. I used to sell at flea markets, and actually, Jeremy, even if you were selling stuff that was competing with me, I would actually still help you, and you would help me. There's some exceptions, but by and large, flea marketers, we help one another. But the people that we didn't help, we did not help the messy ones. The ones that hurt us, that made us all look bad, that made us all look junky. We didn't help them. We helped the people that were responsible.
Wow.
So, Paul, you're telling me that voluntary association and consent were...
It's crazy.
That was crazy, huh?
That was crazy. I mean, honestly, there was knifings every day. No, there were no knifing.
Molotov cocktails 24/7.
But there weren't any. It was peaceful. Anarchy. It was anarchy. Well, anarchy is peace.
Well, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I use the flea market example all the time as a basically agorism in action is what it is. If you take the element out of the fact that most people use the fiat currency in those situations currently because that's all they know to use, but in a free market of currency, a flea market basically is agorism in action, and that's what's happening over there right now. To a larger extent, it's basically like a 24/7 flea market / food court that's self-regulating, keeping clean, keeping people productive, and people are literally popping in there for a couple of months in between jobs. Like if they lose their job and they can't find another one, they immediately go rent one of these little stands, go set up shop, and try to start hawking whatever they can figure out to make, sell, whatever whatever they can produce to the public at large that people be willing to pay them for. They go out and do that while they're looking for another job.
And that's the joke. If you lose a job, it's I guess you're going to be selling at the market.
Exactly. What are you going to be selling tomorrow? That's basically what it is.
Exactly.
They are not just surviving; they are starting to thrive in this manner, and that is what can occur. So that's basically what it is. And
the prices are really great. You don't have all the taxes and
Merrick was
fees and licensing and all that.
Merrick told us when he was over there that and said, hey, $3, for a meal over here, like a full meal that would be like $10, well, especially here in New York, $10, $12, $15, you know, great meals, $2, $3. And because that's what the demand is right now, and that's what people are doing, and it's amazing. And that's the type of stuff that if people just recognize that that's really all it is. When we talk about voluntary interactions, people exchanging their goods and trusting each other to a certain extent, and also self-regulating by choosing who they purchase for based on the quality of the product they're receiving and the, you know, the standards, like you were talking about, Paul, like working there with the people that are messy and stuff. I know myself, if I'm going, unless I'm looking for a specific product that I can't find anywhere else, if I happen to go to a store, flea market, whatever it is, you go into a place that looks kind of scuzzy, looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a while, there's stuff all over the place, you may be less inclined to purchase from there if there's another place close by that you can get the same product at a comparable price that is clean and bright and everything, you know, everything looks a lot neater, and it just, people are naturally inclined to drift to those places if that opportunity exists.
You know, I read something about like these uber clean like shops that they have in like Korea and like Japan and stuff. People are afraid to mess anything up, so they don't actually ever buy anything. They go in, they just look around, they're like, I don't want to put a finger smudge on this.
That's funny.
So there's got to be this middle ground, though. It can't be too like where it's like,
well, that's like the
you leave now.
That's like the Italian grandmother's living room that, or even your parents, depending on what generation you grew up in, where everything looked all nice, but you weren't allowed to sit in it.
Yeah, my grandmother actually had that living room. She wasn't Italian, but she had literally the velvet rope across the living room. You could not go into this beautiful living room. The only people that could go into the living room is when she had the high quality guests. And at some level, you had to be thinking to yourself, what does that say about me?
Well, exactly. And if for any reason anybody else ever had to go in there to collect something that had somehow fallen in there, shoes had to come off. You had to you had to walk like you couldn't run. You had to take very deliberate, slow steps and walk like, tippy toe and stuff, like crazy stuff like that. Like I'd been through it with luckily neither of my grandparents were like that, but I've had friends who were like that I've been to houses like that. And when I was a carpet cleaner for a couple of years before I got full, went full bore.
Before you got dogged.
Yeah, before I went full bore into the whole animal thing, I would go to houses that had rooms like this, and it was funny when I was asked to clean these things because it was like, what am I cleaning? Like I'm basically doing the dusting in here if I'm cleaning the carpets and the upholstery, because it doesn't look like anybody's walked in here in years. But all the mirrors and the picture frames and everything's like shiny, so somebody's obviously dusted in here. But that's basically all you're doing. You're dusting the carpet and you're dusting the furniture just a little bit more than the vacuum could do. So they have you come in and do it. But it was just like, I would just look at people like, why does this exist? Why do you have to have a room that nobody can use except in these extreme situations that in a lot of these cases happen like
human action,
maybe once a year.
Human action, who knows?
It's just crazy. I never understood.
We had one in our house.
Had a value to them.
It's really weird.
You had a museum room? Because that's what I called it. I called it the museum room.
His mom's china cabinet in it. It was like, don't go in there.
Yeah, we had. I just called it the museum room, and it's what's interesting is, well, the room itself. My grandmother is dead, so I can say this publicly now. I've been holding on to this information. Exclusive on Seeds of Liberty, the living room was a total cheeseball. Totally. I mean, even as a kid, I recognized the over-the-top cheese. It had it had wallpaper was like some sort of velvet texture to it with like flowers.
Late 70s.
Yes. It
early
was
70s.
It was awful. It was horrible. Well, mid 70s is when I first discovered the museum room. And it's like, you don't want to protect something like that. You want people to get in there and mess it up so you have an excuse to fix it. But the museum room lived for like 30 years before she finally moved out. And then the first thing they did was they sold the house. So I don't know if anybody else inherited the museum room, but hopefully it's no longer in existence. The museum room. I just killed the show with that one. I apologize. Grandma, from the grave, you're haunting the show. Sorry.
Damn it, Grandma.
Yeah.
I think I've been pretty subdued for this show, so there.
That's
debatable.
I don't know if it's debatable, but if that's what you consider subdued, well then
this is
may need to work on your definition of. I know that may be a little subjective there, but we may need to work on that definition just a little bit.
This is like what a rent-a-cop says they had somebody subdued.
No, wait. Are you resisting? Are you resisting, Dave? Is that what I hear? I hear resisting going on right now. I'll put you in that museum room. You ain't never getting out.
Yeah. Yeah, so
let's shut this show down.
We should punch his puppy in the head. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, we probably should get wrapping up anyway. But before we get going, Paul, it was good to have you on, man. Do you?
I love being on. I'm always happy to be on the show.
Yes. And, do you have anything you want to give your plugs before we get going?
Well, go to stateofwake.com. That's where all of my stuff is. And over the next few days, who knows, I may be making some announcements for some very strange project that I may be starting.
All right. Strange. I like it already. Can't wait. Dave, before we go, you want to close out?
Check me out on Friday on The Downfall, where me and Jared ramble about nothing and get mad at the Federal Reserve.
That sounds interesting.
Otherwise, thanks, Paul, for coming on, and thank you, Jeremy, for doing the show. It was a fun one.
And remember, folks, bad audio is a hate crime.
I said we weren't going to talk about audio this week.
I
couldn't help it, could you?
I couldn't help it.
I hate you, Paul.
Well, this show comes out on Monday.
I may be taking back my thanks for having you on the show. I'm gonna have to think about that. But. All right.
That's harsh, man.
Somebody buff dump this man. Buff dump him.
This has been the Seeds of Liberty podcast. All of our information can be found at theseedsofliberty.com. And we will catch you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace, worms, and peace.
Google voluntarism.
Now that you put it that way, I have the answer to that question. It's projection. That's what it is. It's not a cop-out to call us utopians. They're actually projecting their own self-hatred onto us.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com. Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BipCoin No Government License. The BipCoin No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to bipcot.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.